Hello guys, thank you for coming to my channel again. We have a very exciting episode today. Alright, I got this 88 van e-350. There's a bunch of problems with this thing and didn't know where to start. So I just want to make this video for you guys to know what to do in this case. Alright, the car doesn't start. First thing you gotta look is fuel. Okay, so this car has two tanks. It has a rear tank and it has a front tank. The front tank it's controlled by intake fuel pump, and then the rear tank is actually controlled by the inline pump. Okay, and then you have what's it called, the fuel it's like a switch, I guess. You go to the rear, to the front. It has this little switch up here. You can see it. Switch it that way. You know, we'll switch it this other way. All right. That's the first thing. You can disconnect this line here, and I think that's the inner or the outer. But it's also a pressure sensor. I mean, a pressure gauge on the, looks like a tire valve in the front. All right. So you can just take all the stuff out of here and, you know, press the little, you'll find it on the it's right here. It looks like a tire valve right there. You can see it's kind of dark in here, but it has a little cover. You just, what it do is you're gonna turn it and then take it off the little cover and then press in there, and then fuel is gonna shut out. But if you want to do a professional, what you want to do is you want to get a fuel gauge and connect it there, and then you should have about 35 to 45 pounds. Just check what's the actual fuel pressure in this car. Okay, so that's your first thing. All right, so you have fuel. All right, so next thing you want to do is check if you have a spark. Now in this case here, the issue what I'm having here is that I have two positive on the injectors. So in other words, I don't have no pulse. Okay, and that's where I'm stuck. But before coming to this, the purpose of this video is to guide you on the right way what to do. All right, so we just went to buy a new distributor, a new module. You got to check that these cars, there is two type of module. You will have the one that goes on the distributor, and you'll have that goes on the firewall. Now if you have the one in the distributor, this is the old distributor, so pretty much that's what it looks like. Then you have the cap here, you know, right there, and then you'll have this module right there mounted. Okay, that's the one that's mounted on the distributor. All right, so if you don't have no spark, okay, don't go crazy buying all this stuff. It's a very easy system to check. On the what do you call it, on the ignition coil, you're gonna have 3 wires. Sometimes you have 2 wires. In this case it has 3 wires. Okay, so you're gonna be looking for the ignition coil. It's right in here. As you can see right there, we have a green with the yellow, and we have a red. Okay, on that red you're gonna check for 14 volts or 13, whatever your voltage on the battery, and the green one is actually, that's going to be pulse. So you're going to get a voltmeter, and then you're going to check the voltage on that. When you crank it, it's going to go from 14 down to like maybe 5 volts or 0.5. But there, you know that you have a spark. If you don't have a spark there, I mean, if you have 14 volts and you have that is the little from 14 down to, you'll see your tester, you're gonna see that's gonna go down. If you have that, then I guess it's your ignition coil that is no good. Your coil is no good, because as you know, the coil goes from here to the middle of your rotor cap. Okay, then from here the distributor, you know, distributes that on every cylinder depending on the firing order, and that's it. That's how you get sparks on your, you know, on your plugs. Now One more thing that don't go crazy on this is that we changed this distributor, and we also changed the module. Um, this car, don't go crazy testing this, testing that. Is like I say, it's a very simple system. Um, if you don't have, okay, first you're gonna check on your ignition coil. Okay, if your ignition coil doesn't have no spark, then your problem is going to be in the pig coil. Okay, the pig coil is inside here, so you're going to have to take the whole thing distributor apart so you can get to that ignition, what they call that, the crank sensor. I guess that would be the pulse. That should look something like this internally. You see that black? Okay, so everything, as you can see, this camera is really bad focusing. If you can see, every time this thing goes around like this, it throws a pulse, okay? And that what makes the spark. So, again, if you have a sparking ignition coil, okay, then check in your coil. If you have, you will have to, best thing to do, myself, is changing the whole distributor along with this module, okay? It's just an easy way if you find a spark in your coil. Okay, now this ignition coil, that's the main thing in this video. This ignition coil is actually controlled by its own. So this module will control the spark. It sends a little output to the computer, but that just to control the timing on the card. Now there is this coil spout, which is that little sensor right here. This you can take it off to put the timing in this card. So in other words, when you plug this in, the computer takes care of the timing. When you get this off, then it just by its own. So it's its own circuit, his own system. Okay, it doesn't need the computer to make a spark, and I'm going to prove it to you. So as you can see, I have the computer disconnect. So let's go inside and check for a spark. And here we go. I'm going to prove it to you. Just give me a second. I'm going to put a plug here. Okay, there we go. I have this plug. All right, so I want to show you one more time that this is not a trick or anything like that I'm trying to trick you guys. Okay, computer is totally off. Okay, now you go here and pay attention to this. All right, so that proves that this engine or this spark is not controlled by the computer. It controls by module, pig coil, that it picked the spark and throws it out, distributes this thing. Okay, so again, that diagnosis is just for those cars that don't have no spark. So don't go crazy changing the computer, changing this, changing all that. So the first step to do is see if you have a spark in your coil. If you don't have a spark in your coil, okay, then you have a bad module. Okay, but first I would check the distributor before doing all that. But if you would just want to resolve the issue, I guess change the distributor along with the module, because those modules, they seem to fail a lot, so they change them very often. Another thing is that again, in the reading on that coil, let me see if I can show you here. There's the what do you call it, the whole diagnosing this thing, the whole thing, how it works. So I'm gonna let you guys see that, and as you can see, it's its own little circuit by itself. So even though your computer goes bad, that's not the issue or the responsible for the spark. The spark, it's got to come along with either the distributor itself or the the TFI ignition module. Alrighty guys, again, thank you for watching. You guys have a great day.